Texas faces a surging Kansas State squad this Saturday in Austin. Why is Kansas State a top 10 offense? How is their defense shutting teams down? And most importantly, can Texas secure the win against a Big 12 championship contender? After the show, Inside Texas is the #1 spot to stay in the know on your favorite football team. Constant game analysis, recruiting updates, and insider notes about the squad is dropping daily. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com today. Link in the description. This should be a prove-it game for both teams fighting for their spot at the top of the conference. But who comes out on top? Without further ado, let's get into it. Kansas State offensive coordinator Colin Klein continues to be resourceful with his personnel and experiment to maximize the team's ability. On top of that, he's doing a good job on the headset. 17th in offensive success rate, keeping the offense moving forward while ranking 5th in the nation in third down conversions. He's consistently finding ways to put different guys in the right situations to execute, ranking 15th in the nation in the red zone. Kansas State is predominantly an 11 personnel team with a healthy mix of 12, utilizing power formations as well. For a team that likes to run it, they aren't a slow, plodding offense, running the 22nd most plays in the nation, blending power and speed impressively. And they're doing all of this while utilizing that unique two-quarterback system we saw a lot last year. For the first half of the season, it was all senior quarterback Will Howard. He's done an average job so far. 7th in completion percentage at 64, 10th in yards per attempt at 7.5. 11th in average depth of target at 9.1 out of 19 Big 12 quarterbacks. He makes some good plays and he makes some bad plays. Decision making has been suspect at times as the second most likely quarterback to throw an interception in the Big 12 with 7 picks. Howard can operate the short game well, able to keep the offense on time. He's the 3rd graded quarterback on stuff 10 yards and under. But the offense was struggling in the first half of the season to get vertical and stretch defenses. Once again, Howard is dead middle and throwing intermediate and 3rd to last in the conference on anything deep over 20 yards, only completing 31% of his deep shots. Putting all these passing stats together, he's the 10th graded quarterback in the Big 12 out of 19 guys. But he does have another dimension to his game. Will Howard and Kansas State are effective on quarterback runs. Howard isn't some next-level athlete, but he absolutely gets it done as the 3rd graded rushing quarterback in the league, averaging 6.4 yards per carry with 6 touchdowns and a long of 70 yards. K-State times that QB run so well, and they'll pull linemen out in front and Howard can move the chains or bust the explosive run. But ultimately, the Kansas State staff wanted to see more out of Howard, so they turned to a useful psychological tool that seems to bring the best out of him. They gave some of his snaps to the ultra-explosive true freshman, Avery Johnson. Johnson was the 9th ranked overall quarterback in the country in the 2023 class, and Klein decided to get him into the mix to see if he could inspire better play from the starter and make the team harder to defend. The first thing that pops off the screen is Johnson's remarkable speed at the quarterback position. Howard can and will run, but Johnson will absolutely freak you out with his rushing ability. Great vision, acceleration, and long speed, and that makes defensive coordinators paranoid. You gotta watch for him on quarterback counter at any part of the field. Texas Tech was the first game he was really integrated into the offense, and he had 5 rushing touchdowns. Right now, as a true freshman, he's being brought along more slowly on the passing side, with a fairly limited route tree of the deep go ball or something short. He's of course still trying to figure out how to operate the offense consistently as more than just a runner, but Klein puts him in great spots to make his limited completions count. Avery Johnson's got a bright future and he's a factor the defense will have to be very aware of. But most importantly, he seems to be pushing Howard to play at a higher level. The Kansas State run game is where the bulk of their success comes from due to the multiple rushing threats at quarterback and a talented duo of running backs. This run-heavy offense is 9th in the nation in yards per rush, landing 5.6 yards per attempt, 19th in rushing success rate, able to consistently move the ball, and 25th in rushing explosivity, able to gash you with the backbreaker. K-State will go on these long, methodical drives that wear down defenses mentally and physically. First in attempts with 103 is the larger 6'1", 212-pound sophomore DJ Giddens. He's been putting in work, averaging 6.2 yards per carry, 6th best in the Big 12, and he can force effortless missed tackles with his smooth running style. It's generally a gap scheme offense, so once the O-line pulls around, Giddens can glide for a smooth pickup. Overall, he's the 4th graded running back in the league. Second in attempts with 77 is the smaller 5'10", 194-pound senior transfer Trayshawn Ward from Florida State. He's the speedier of the two backs with great acceleration, able to get up to the second level before defenders see it coming. If you can actually get your hands on him, then he's easier to bring down, ranking bottom half in yards after contact per attempt. But he's not soft, and he'll bounce off tackles or keep his legs turning if you don't wrap up well. He's posted an above-average 5.3 yards per carry and is the 12th graded running back of 26 in the conference. On top of talented backs, of course, the heart of a good run game is the offensive line. Kansas State is averaging 3.4 line yards per rush, good for 19th in the country. The group is led by NFL draft pick left guard Cooper Beebe, graded as the best run-blocking lineman in the entire Big 12. Beebe is an elite guard and should be the first guard selected in the draft. Rotational right tackle Carver Willis is ranked 5th. Starting right tackle Christian Duffy is 13th. And future NFL left tackle KT Leviston is 15th of 81 run-blocking offensive linemen. Right guard Hadley Panzer and center Hayden Gillum need some improvement though, ranking 48th and 49th. But it's not just the offensive line making holes. You've got H-back/fullback Ben Sinnott, who will likely be the first fullback to come off the board at his position in the NFL draft. And he can get a hold of linebackers and safeties consistently. He's not afraid of the dirty work. That's an excellent player. So we can see that the run game is the engine of this offense due to the versatility of runners and their high-performing offensive line. It's the pass game that offensive coordinator Colin Klein has been tinkering with so far. They've stuck to high completion, shorter concepts, giving them a good passing success rate of 38th in the nation. But under the hood, they're missing something. And that's reflected by their 77th ranked yards per pass and 103rd ranked passing explosivity. But to really put them over the top, they need to be able to threaten the field vertically, and they are improving there throughout the season. Their receiving room is a bit odd for Kansas State this year. There's 2 guys that are sure things to get the ball, and then the rest of the room needs added context. Leading the team in targets is slot Phillip Brooks with 56. And Brooks can do all your normal slot activities of securing the easier access throws. But then he can use his speed to hit the intermediate crosser or to sneak down the seam for the big pickup. He's their most versatile weapon and a guy you have to keep your eye on. Currently, he's the 15th graded receiver in the league. Second in targets is H-back extraordinaire Ben Sinnott with 43. He's far more than just a scrappy blocker. Sinnott moves around so much in the run game, it's easy for him to slip out undetected and grab flat routes, or even head vertical and settle down in that intermediate range. There's a lot of times he's just wide open. Overall, he's the 3rd graded receiving tight end in the Big 12. Now that we know the 2 main threats, there's some other guys that have been moved around to generate more speed. True freshman Jace Brown is new to the starting lineup. He's a smaller 5'11", 174-pound athlete, but he's where you can best see K-State's want to become a more vertically threatening team, because he can run those go routes and beat corners or take the reverse, stretching the field laterally. A speedier guy with solid hands that made some nice catches in the Texas Tech game. When Kansas State goes into 11 personnel, you have a more pure outside receiver in the 6'1", 190-pound senior Jaden Jackson. Half of his work is the quick route to keep the sticks moving, but rarely he does get some intermediate or deep shots. But he's not their first choice on the vertical stuff. Overall, he's the 37th graded receiver in the conference. Then you have RJ Garcia, who was a starter earlier in the season, but his reps have taken a dive, only averaging 1 target the past 5 games. The 6', 176-pound sophomore was used outside about 60% of the time, and ranks as the 24th wide receiver in the league. More recently, you also have to watch out for tight end Will Swanson and halfback Garrett Oakley to leak out for the easy red zone touchdown. Another factor with the passing game is the offensive line. Of course, left guard Cooper Beebe does a great job in the pass, ranking 3rd with a good effort from starting left tackle KT Levinston, ranking 12th. But the remaining starters are all bottom half in pass blocking. As a group, Kansas State is ranked 9th in offensive line pass blocking efficiency. But the offense overall is a great unit, ranked 10th in the nation in the advanced metric OFEI. But a majority of that success is coming from the run. And Kansas State is currently trying to become more well-rounded in the pass game. The keys for the Texas defense are clear this week. Put our 23rd ranked rushing defense up against K-State's 9th ranked rushing offense. You're not going to shut them down, but shaving off 25% of their usual rushing success will force the quarterbacks to chase the deep ball. Texas traditionally does well versus a more run-focused 12 personnel type team like Kansas State, so it is a matchup we're more comfortable with. Of course, a ton of focus has to be placed on not getting caught by the quarterback-designed run. In the pass rush, the left side of the K-State line is solid, but let's see what we could create targeting the right side of the line. The quarterbacks aren't scramblers, they're more designed runners, so you don't have to be rush lane obsessed like versus a Jalen Milroe type. The secondary has the best matchup due to Kansas State still trying to get the vertical game to click. On the times they do test you deep, don't let those shots land or this offense is hard to stall out. The tough part is the Texas defense is designed to force teams to check down and dink and dunk, and that's exactly what Kansas State wants to do and is successful at. We are going to have to change it up a bit and try to force mistakes, or they could wear down our defense on those long drives. The Kansas State offense has had some weird moments earlier in the year, but they are starting to get things rolling and improving by the week. And unfortunately for the Longhorns, Kansas State is also playing at a high level on the other side of the ball. But before we hit the defense, the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their prize pick projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their prize pick projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Just hop on the Prize Picks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer, and you will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That's double your money up to $100 for your first time. So sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Link in the description. Kansas State hasn't allowed a touchdown since the Texas Tech game on October 14th, giving up just 3 points to TCU and shutting out Houston last week. The Wildcats utilized the 3-3-3. 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 safety look that Sark has struggled with. But they aren't rigid, able to bring a safety down to function more as a traditional nickel in the slot with 2 safeties still up top. Or bring a linebacker down to the edge to provide 4 down looks. They can drop 8 or send 4 or 5. They do a good job mixing up things schematically, and they are characteristically well coached and flow to the ball quickly. The scheme and the coaching creates an environment for good defenses to emerge, ranking 32nd in points per game, 37th in points per drive, and 33rd in defensive success rate in the nation. Kansas State's run defense is sturdy, except for the explosive run every now and again. Overall, they give up 4.2 yards per rush, which is average at 66. But they do a good job limiting teams down to down, only allowing teams rushing success on 34% of plays, good for 14th in the nation. But like I said, they do let backs slip out occasionally for the big run, ranking 90th in the country for defensive rushing explosivity. The line doesn't have any top half interior defensive linemen and only one edge. Khalid Duke makes the top half for exterior run stoppers. But those lack of numbers are due to the 3-down scheme where the linemen are asked to hold certain spots, forcing the ball towards their linebackers who can then make consistent, predictable tackles, and that's reflected by the numbers. All 3 starting linebackers are top 15 with 2 being in the top 10. Mike Austin Romaine is the 6th graded run-stopping linebacker. Will Austin Moore is 7th, and Sam Desmond Purnell is 15th of 45 LBs against stopping the run. The secondary also does their part with free safety / nickel Marquise Siegel ranking 10th, rotational corner Will Lee ranking 15th, joker safety Kobe Savage ranking 20th, while the remaining safety and starting corners are bottom 3rd against the run. Kansas State can get creative on passing downs, able to just rush 3 or bring a linebacker down to create a 4-down rush while reserving the option to fire a 5th rusher and a 2nd-level linebacker. The Wildcats keep quarterbacks second-guessing the looks. They average 2.3 sacks per game, good for 52nd in the country. Due to being a 3-down, the nose isn't heavily utilized in the pass rush, serving more to just push the pocket or pry open a hole for a linebacker, so none are in the top half. But their edges are more effective. And Brendan Mott is the 11th graded pass rushing edge with 16 total pressures, 2 of which are sacks. And the edge opposite him, Khalid Duke, is ranked 12th, notching 19 total pressures, 5 of which are sacks. At linebacker, Mike Daniel Green was the highest graded, but he's injured and out for the season. Will Austin Moore is ranked 19th, and he's secured 3 sacks so far. Now starting Mike, Austin Romaine is ranked 22nd with 1 sack. And then the most likely to be sent on the pass rush, Sam Desmond Purnell, ranking 30th of 36 Big 12 linebackers. They are able to generate pressure, sending different combinations of guys and speeding up quarterbacks. But they are missing an early round NFL pass rusher like they had last year in Felix and Udike Uzama. The Kansas State coverage can give up the easy stuff, ranking 75th in the nation in success rate. But they do a good job limiting deep completions, only giving up 6.9 yards per throw, good for 43rd. Kansas State makes you dink and dunk, doing a great job against the explosive pass, ranking 25th in the country. K-State only has 1 linebacker in the top half for pass coverage and Sam Desmond Purnell. Corner Jacob Parrish does a solid job as the 11th ranked corner, only allowing 52% of targets to be caught on him with a really good 20% forced incompletion rate. Marquise Siegel, who is listed as a free safety but spends so much time in the slot as a nickel he ends up grouped with the corners, is ranked 16th overall, only allowing a great 45% of balls to get caught that are thrown his way. Rotational corner Will Lee is 27th. And finally, opposite starting corner Keenan Garber is ranked 32nd of 48 Big 12 corners. Both remaining safeties are performing above average, with strong safety VJ Payne graded as the 12th best coverage safety, pulling in 1 interception on the year. While joker safety, the traditional middle safety in a 3-high, Kobe Savage, ranks 23rd of 55 Big 12 safeties, pulling in 2 interceptions. This is a good overall defense, only slightly worse performing than their talented squad last year. This season, they are the 21st ranked overall defense by the advanced metric DFEI, while last season they did a bit better, ranked 19th. The keys for the Texas offense are a little nerve-wracking when looking at the numbers and the tape. Malik Murphy made some plays in his first start, but he also made some ill-advised throws at key points. One was intercepted, others weren't. I like confidence in a quarterback, but I don't like putting the ball in danger needlessly. Kansas State will make those interceptions, and that'll leave us in a bad spot versus a good team if it's not cleaned up. I prefer Malik to throw short in front of the defense or way deep behind the defense, so if it is a misfire, it cannot get intercepted. Plus, Malik does throw a nice deep ball. But intermediate routes are the most risky with inexperienced guys, and I'd seek to limit those. Texas has their best matchup on paper in the run game. Kansas State is solid down to down, but they can be caught with the big run. Texas struggles with down to down consistency in the run, but are excellent at popping off the big ones. So ideally, Brooks would be able to land a few big shots in the run game to help out an offense missing their starting quarterback. And then zooming out from just our personnel, Sark frustrates me in his play selection on third downs. Texas is 66th in the nation on third down, while Kansas State is 12th in the nation on defense on third downs, so I expect stalled drives. On top of that, Texas is one of the worst in the country on red zone touchdowns. Sark needs to figure out those key situational spots quickly, or you could see the offense sputter or cause Malik Murphy to try to play hero ball. Overall, this is a really good Kansas State team that is coming into its own as the season progresses. And they're going to be in the mix for the Big 12 championship due to their success on both sides of the ball, paired with that excellent coaching. But Texas is also a really good team. We're just down a starting quarterback. So I expect this one to be an interesting matchup, and this game will likely decide who will take one of the spots in the conference championship. Now it's just time to see who gets that win when the Wildcats head to DKR this Saturday. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.